believe we're live, so I'll say indeed and greetings. Whoa, he is, Zoe is a little bit nasty this morning. He was pretty chill this whole time, but when we came and sat down, he seemed to like take on a little. Oh, now you're being cute again. You're being cute again.
What are you doing, you crazy animal?
He does not like the tripod and light. I have found out. He seems to be a little bit about that part. But we find ourselves here again. Allowed to transform with our space. Me and Joe spent a considerable amount of time yesterday making a little yoga studio for ourselves, essentially. We practiced yoga there for the first time this morning, and it was nice to have that new space. Bye, Zoe. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We did. Zoe's bedroom is pretty much set up now. He has a whole bed in his bedroom that should help absorb. He has a TV. I think the TV is a bit loud right now, though.
I think he was anxious about it this morning.
You think the sounds?
About the TV being loud.
Yeah.
A little too loud for him.
It might be. I think like we can have it. I don't. Did you up the volume again? I think it was on 11. Maybe we can drop it to like 5 or something. But yeah, we set a whole TV up for Zoe. He had his cage changed just recently, so he has a window view. Now he has like bird TV during the day as well, so that he has extra enrichment. And of course, we stuff his little walnut shells with stuff as well for him to pick out of it, and we'll wrap things for him. In like little cardboard pieces to have him have the pleasure of breaking things open and getting to extract the little goodness that lives inside. And it's been very curious to notice how his little demeanor and way of being has been transformed by his space being transformed. There was a moment a while ago when Jo vocalized the fact that she does want to kind of like apply some effort and set out to actually make his room a little bit better, because she does see him as a little entity, and he is a little person in that way that lives in that space too, and she wants that little person to have a good time living in his little space. And we did that. I think it was technically Friday. Friday we started doing his room. Or was it in the week? Might have been in the week. Might have been Thursday.
I think it was Friday.
Friday maybe.
It was whenever you were sick and you were trying to convince yourself that you weren't.
Yes. I'm not sick anymore, I say myself to convince. I feel a lot better. Like, a lot better. My throat is not as scratchy anymore. My nose is not a constant waterfall. And my brain feels like I'm only missing a single scoop instead of multiple. I'll still do my creatine and B vitamins, fractals soonish. Just need to get more of this coffee inside me first. Oh,
What?
I just.
You're supposed to fast?
Yep.
Put cream in your
Yep.
coffee?
Yep. Joe knew what my awe was about real quick. I was like, yes, I'm gonna drink this coffee because it has calories in it, and I'm not supposed to take my B vitamins without some calories in me. And then I was like, I'm not supposed to have any calorie. Alas, maybe we can still fast afterwards. Do you want to fast today?
I mean, maybe. I don't know, we'll see.
I've not gained any weight, so I don't feel like I've been naughty enough to really deserve fasting. I shouldn't say it like
I don't
that.
want to fast. I have all of that green bean casserole and meatloaf, and I'm like, finish it before it goes bad. There's so much food in the fridge.
It's really true. Yeah, Joe cooked for us. She made us like a traditional American meal. I've been having my first meatloaf ever.
It's mid.
That's not bad.
It's mid.
We've been like basically making the equivalent of White Castle burgers with it. It's convenient. That's the way I see it. I think American food very much is catered towards convenience more than anything else.
American food is kind of, I think, a little bland. Like we don't season stuff up as much as what?
I was joking with the camera being like, and then you looked at me and I was like,
Yeah. A lot of cream, a lot of sugar, a lot of butter.
I don't think it's bland necessarily. I just think you, and I'm not meaning you as in like directly you, but like maybe the American chef doesn't have the same level of like spice influence that I grew up with living in South Africa.
Yeah.
We had a conversation with Andrea
Andrea's
and
mom.
Andrea's mom. That's right, about that actually, where we were talking about rusks, something that my mom makes, and she knows what rusks are as well. And there is a large overlap between English colonization, India, and South Africa. And then India has a lot of influence in South Africa as well. Like the highest population of Indians, only after India, is South Africa.
I didn't know that.
Yep, that's right. So if India is to explode suddenly, South Africa will be the new India. Good. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but
Yes.
that's like basically the gist of it. And
Moon's like, yeah.
yeah. Moon. We'll see you on South Africa's side. So with that whole almost like influence and the spice trade coming literally past South Africa, I think our culture has been very spice forward, right? Like aromatic spices. And I've noticed. I don't think I've tasted a single bit of like curry type of spice since I came to America.
Oh no, we don't use that. We only use that in like Indian
You
dishes.
see, I'll use curry spice. Like for instance, if I had to make your meatloaf, I would use.
Curry.
I probably would have used curry to flavor the mince
Interesting. We should
before.
try it. We should do it. We should just like.
Show you Americans how meatloaf is made, right? Has meatloaf one time, perfects the recipe.
Are you gonna put it in the chili too?
I think the chili, Sam's chili has that whole spice pack with it, right? And it's more like smoked paprika forward,
Yeah.
where
Cumin. We use cumin and chili. I like the cumin flavor. I'll put cumins in burgers or taco seasoning sometime even too, because it just has this kind of like dirt flavor.
a
I
little
don't know.
dirt flavor,
It has like it just tastes earthy. I like cumin,
especially with like ground beef or something.
something like that. I lost my phone and
Now you're getting your watch on to hit the
I
button.
had to find my watch so I can find my phone. Anyways.
Find my watch so I can find my phone. Now you just need like one of those rings. I need to find my watch. I'm gonna call my watch with my ring, and then I'm gonna call my phone with my watch, so I can call my boss and let them know that I'm not coming into work. Barbecue is not bland. Alexander Lupo.
Oh, barbecue's not bland.
Yeah, barbecue is not bland. I don't have. Have I had barbecue here yet?
Yeah, you have.
Have I? I've had barbecue in the general sense, right? Many a barbecues. We call them braai in South Africa.
Barbecue is such a broad term. I mean, you have barbecue ribs, which you bought barbecue ribs. You've not had like barbecue, like smoked barbecue, like the real, like somebody made it on their back porch kind of barbecue yet. But
I'm looking forward to that. I've been seeing dudes with big smokers when I ride my wheel as well sometimes. Where
yeah, and they're out there with their like.
their big bellies, shirtless.
Is that how they are? Because sometimes, yeah. Has that happened? It's typically too cold right
No,
now.
I'm stereotyping.
I was like, oh, I mean, it's not unheard of.
No.
But, I mean, it's pretty cold.
I've only seen the barbecues just like smoking and then nobody next to them.
Yeah, you just pretty much do the work and then you let it do the rest of the work for the
Right.
next couple hours. Man, smoked barbecue is like
Brisket
we
or
need to
something.
take you to get some like brisket. Yeah.
Talking these things. Name a car.
A truck.
Love you. Name truck. So, you had one job. Yep. Alexander knows barbecue is not bland. You can't just eat barbecue. That's the problem. You can't just eat. I would. But I don't think I can afford to just eat barbecue. That's the real problem. And if I had to name a car, Sam is like, no, not a truck. If I had to name a car, I would name a Ford Mustang 1969 500. Boom. Get a car named though. That car touched a part of my child heart. When I was a little kid, my dad took me. I love you, Zhao. She has to go.
Love you, friend.
Love you, Zhao. Send loves to Zhao.
You telling your story about how you thought a car was sexy?
That's right. Well,
I'm gonna make that car my wife.
I mean,
First time that you ever saw in the day.
yeah, I was like, well, there's no Mustangs here in South Africa, so I might as well marry an American lady so I can get closer to my real wife,
The Mustang.
the Ford Mustang,
That's
1969 500
most,
series.
most like, I can't say most. A lot of like teenage boys or younger boys, their first crush was like Jessica Rabbit, and you're like, it's the Shelby Cobra.
Yeah, it literally the Shelby Cobra.
Was
That's
it?
yeah. Yeah, I just forgot those words. The Shelby Cobra 500. That's literally it.
Maybe I heard it subconsciously.
You must have. That car is ridiculously sexy.
I remember in Age of Empires, the game Age of Empires, there was some kind of a cheat code.
Monster truck or car
It
you
was
could
some
get.
No, you got a Shelby Cobra.
You got a Shelby
Yes,
Cobra?
and you drove it all around the map and just obliterated it.
I was about to say you could just like drive straight through buildings.
It was so dumb fast. Like, it was such a stupid little cheat code, and I loved it.
I love you.
Love you.
Listen, you already shall.
Love you.
All in space for you.
Yeah, see you at lunch.
Dan is like, oh my goodness, the car cheated. Nah, the Mach 1 Mustang is the one. Yeah, that one is good as well. Let me just see to make sure that I am in fact talking about the one I think I'm talking about. Right? Because the one I think I'm talking about, again, that car changed my whole life. Right? Like I was a 6-year-old when my dad took me to this car show. And as soon as my poor child eyes witnessed that vehicle, I was like, I think I get it. I think I now understand why people like cars. I think that's pretty much how it went. I'll just ask. Ford Mustang, 1969, 500. Yeah. Was it a GT Fastback? It might have been a Shelby. 7 liter? This thing was a 7-liter engine? That's disgusting. I would not want to drive it now that I know that part, but here it is. Is it this one? Yeah. I think this is this. This is this. Yeah. This one is an 8-cylinder. A V8. Where's my photographs? Give me photograph. A 2-door. Web search. Which one was it? I think it was this color. Yep. That's it. That car right there. Right? When I was a child saw that thing, I was like, wow. Oh wow. They make them like that? Here we go. That's pretty much the scene. That's how it was parked when I laid eyes on it the first time as a child. I became... Is it saucing out there? It's raining. Like it's suddenly like really raining out there. You will be my boyfriend. No. Actually, I won't. Actually, I'll spit in your general direction. I don't know why I'm going that far. I'm sorry. Yeah, Shelby Cobra. This freaking Shelby Cobra. I can even remember. I think that's in part why I became so enamored with this car. Because when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with snakes. Like really obsessed with snakes. All right, and when I saw this car had a cobra on its grill, I was like, that's sick. That's freaking sick, I thought to myself as a little kid. Yeah, and ever since, I've wanted to drive a muscle car. Ever since. Legitimately, I've never not wanted a muscle car since that day. I don't think I'll ever drive one, just because it's impractical and apparently not a good car to drive. And also, if you're paying for the fuel, especially these days, hell no. Hey Google, what was the gas mileage on the 1969 Shelby Cobra? Ah, 8 miles a gallon. 8 miles a gallon. Oh, that seems reasonable. Every 8 miles you drive, you pay $4. How about not? How about? I would rather not. $40 for 80 miles. That's so crazy. Okay. Okay, enough car talk. I'll move on. Oh! I'm sorry about that, little plants. Let's see. That's a zesty outfit, my boy. Thank you. Thank you. This scarf has cheetah print on it. Yeah, cheetah print and pinks and blues. Hot damn. Thank you for being beautiful, Mascat. Thank you for allowing me to be seen as beautiful. I appreciate you projecting that onto me too. Bro, yo, that is just not true. America has the most flavorful barbecue in the world. Xander knows. Alexander knows. I still haven't had it, so I'll have to judge for myself. I grew up brying a lot. Happy Monday from South Africa. Thank you, Morgan. Bless South Africa too. I bet you could make some good burgers with meatloaf seasoning, Mel. I don't think we put any meatloaf seasoning in it. I think that was also a part of the problem. You need to try 18-hour slow cooked brisket. Yes, please. One 18-hour slow cooked brisket for me. Noodle. Noodle. Get over there. Get up over there, bro. I know that you like being on the couches, but the couches are currently occupied. Wouldn't you want to know what I'm talking about? But I'm not going to tell you. Actually, I will tell you. Our home is occupied right now. So part of the process of clearing a space is that other spaces might become unclear during the process. And this space is definitely the victim of not being clear right now. Little found himself back in his cage. Good. Yeah, so we have some clothing and stuff on the couches, and Noodle was like, this looks comfortable. I'll just jump on the top of the clothing. So ironic that this channel has become the Food Network. It is, Mojo. It is ironic. And I knew it was gonna happen one day, right? And I was fighting against it. You saw me. You saw me fighting tooth and nail, screaming into the void. But nay, you can scream into the void all you want. The void will scream back. That's what the void says. Okay, fine, then eat pizza. Medics, eat lobster mac and cheese. Is your boy Jax? Yo, Joey. Yo, boy, Mr. Jacksons. Wow. You like my answer? Zayden Isaacs. Even better, eat a barbecue chicken pizza. I'm making one on Saturday. I do look forward to making pizza with you when we're here, Dan. That's gonna happen. Medics was supposed to be America. Makes more sense. America. Eat lobster mac and cheese. Not a Mach 1 Mustang is the one. Let me check. Let me check if I agree. This was just the first one I had ever seen. Mach 1 Mustang. I agree. I do agree. I think this one looks better, right? Shape-wise. Wait a second. This one has a Cobra on it as well. Maybe I'm getting bamboozled. But yeah. I think you're right, Darren. I'm in agreement with you. Right. If someone gives me that car, I think I might still be willing to pay 8 mile per gallon kind of prices. The Cobra is the engine. Darren, thank you for letting me know. You see, clearly I'm not enough of a car nerd. I think for me, the car nerdness actually stops at the engine. I understand how engines work. At one point, I tried to convince my dad to buy me an old, busted Ford body, but it was still gonna be like $3,000 just for the like non-running like, and it was rough. Like it was rough. Like it had throughout his life like 7 coats of paint, and I'm serious, like 7 coats of paint. And the people that bought it before I wanted to buy it had started to try and take those coats of paint off, so you could like see, you could just see the layers upon layers of paint on that car. So I knew it was going to be a mission. And even then, in that state, I didn't think it even had an engine in it. It was like $3,500. And I really did try and convince my dad. Of course, I couldn't afford it. And I was like, please, dad, please. Oh, I would like, I would like be the best son ever. Please. And he was like, no, we don't got time, Mo. We don't got time for freaking fixing a Mustang. So alas. I think if I do get a Mustang, actually, suddenly I'm like, do they make these? 1969 Mach 1 Mustang kit bodies. Do they do that? Ooh. Mm. Mm. I can get myself a little RC car. Get my Mustang without having a Mustang. Let me ask it like this. Can you buy 1969 Mustang bodies that are made recently, kind of thing? Yeah, brand new production steel bodies for a 1969 Mustang. They are typically manufactured by companies like Dynacorn and are officially licensed by Ford. Oh, oh, sorry about that. The price just like, yeah, 17 to 21,000 plus dollars, excluding shipping and crating fees and potential taxes. And then it's literally a steel shell. You get a steel shell for $17,000. I'll rather buy myself a running car. Thank you very much. My poor dreams of having a Mustang decimated once more. I was gonna say I would like do a electric conversion on it, right? So I can charge it with electrons and drive it around. Because imagine paying $4 for every 8 miles you travel. Oh, I would rather not. Hello, I am from Arpan. You're an Arpan friend? I mean, that's such a crazy thing to just come in here and say. Born and raised. Arpan friends. It's nice having you here. We were born and raised in the Arpan days as well. So now you don't have a car? I've never had a car. Literally. I literally never had a car. And I personally believe I've never really needed one. But that's, I think, my own personal bias as well, where maybe have needed a car, but I've never wanted one, kind of thing. Right? I've always. Hey, Joe.
This message with 20 seconds of Aerosmith.
Just starts playing.
My laptop somewhere over here.
It is underneath that.
Thank you.
I think that's why I saw it. Is it?
Yeah, that's where it is. I hid
Nice.
it from myself.
Happy you got it though. Didn't have to look for it for too long.
I do too much work without my laptop.
Now I get an extra hug. Love you, Joe. See you soon. I almost came in too fast. Yeah, she wanted to kiss my hand, and then I was like bringing it closer. Then she brought her face closer as well.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, Joe. See you soon. It's already close again. Okay. Let me see. Okay. The card sheet, nice. The 500 is better, but the Mach 1 is actually findable. Oh, Is the 500 like an ultra rare kind of thing where you have to have like big cash if you want one, or you just can't have one kind of thing where they're not being made anymore kind of thing? Will you be my boyfriend? No. What's up, brother? Good morning. Hope all is well. Combat journeys. Everything is good. Me and Joe have been like really busy getting this home stimulated. Right? The space is being transformed, and we are being transformed by the transforming of this space. Right? It definitely has been this give and take. I hate the whoa low low, Sam. Is that another car? I think so. The Mustang you just showed are some of my favorite classic cars. I love the classic Mustang 65 through 69, great years. I agree. I went to your channel and watched your oldest video. Your accent was much thicker 5 years ago, lol. I'm not surprised. I have been speaking English in this format for thousands of hours now. Almost. Almost. Actually, it's been more than 2,000 hours, I'm sure. I don't think I can query the machine just yet. But yeah, thousands upon thousands of hours of basically talking to myself will change your accent. People have told me that I sound strange, and I wonder how much of it is because of that. Thank you for tuning into the old stuff as well, Combat Journeys. Appreciate your love. Microsoft Teams and Microsoft in general is a piece of shit. Bill Gates, more like Bill Idiot. Should I get a small mullet, guys? Yeah, I think it's the time. I think mullets are in again. I think you should get a mullet. Are you planning on starting a gritty 80s film? What's the topic of discussion today? Phil, today's topic of discussion is how the space you're in transforms you, right? I have moved all the way from South Africa to be in this space, right? Immediately, this home that I'm in, but in the overarching sense, America, right? And America is a certain way, expects you to behave a certain way. And these expectations, whether they are communicated or not, influence who and how you are. And I find that very curious. And then there is the microcosm of that macrocosm. That is the way you live immediately, right? The way your room is, the way your house is, right? Do you have a room that's just completely stacked with a bunch of stuff that you don't want to look at, right? And you don't really want to go into that room to make the decision on what should stay and what shouldn't stay, all right? I believe even if we don't come to that conclusion or to that realization consciously, unconsciously, there is an effect being exercised over our being, right? And I can feel myself. I felt myself yesterday being transformed as we transformed that little space. And I find that curious. And I think that's what I want to talk about today. That's like the general gist of this conversation. It's nice having you here again, Phil. We did invite you to come back, and here you are. How have you found? Do you believe in this too? You think you're transformed by your space? Or maybe I can ask it like this. What ratio? What ratio of how you transform is space related? And how does your space get transformed based on your state of being? All right. Do you have to be in a good mood to transform your space? Do you have to be in a bad mood to transform your space? When you transform your space, does it bring you a good mood? Does it bring you a bad mood? Right. And almost like seeing that as a window into your own psyche a little bit. That's kind of the gist, right? Something that's definitely been coming up in my mind. Cobra's the engine. It appears our set topic is how we transform with our space, but it seems to be moving towards car talk. Yeah, we did get a little bit distracted. So now you don't have a car, Nate. Why get a Mustang when you can get a mullet and a mustache? That's basically like people are gonna see you and assume you have a Mustang, right? So why drive a Mustang when you can just get like a $20 haircut, right? Why spend $20,000 on a Mustang when you can spend $20 on a mullet and a mustache? And then you still get the same effect, right? Everybody assumes you got Mustang. What is your obsession with mullets? Hello, I'm from Sweden, the Big O. It's nice having you. Welcome, Sweden, in America. Please don't ask him why he's obsessed with stuff. Yes, I'll tell you. I hate needing a car. Driving freaks me out. I don't know if driving freaks me out. No, it does. When I'm driving, I'm, I believe, a good driver. I've never been in an accident, right? Not jinxing it. I've never been in an accident, which I'm very happy about. And I have had close calls, right, where suddenly there were like cars swerving into my lane, or suddenly, like, the worst one, the one that I had like the closest call on was we were on interstate, and then I think somebody had, like, their car had broken down or something, right? And suddenly, like, we go from driving 70 or whatever to literally still standing cars in front of me. And I hit the brakes, and the ABS gotta kicks in, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it as I'm seeing this car still fast approaching while I'm like ramming on the brakes, and I had to like swerve into the grass, right, next to the side of the road, just so I didn't go straight into the back of that car. And as I'm like on the grass, right, on the side of it, and I can see this guy in his car looking at me like, and I'm like, yeah, oh my goodness, I'm coming over for pizza, Dan. You should come over here. You should come over here. I don't know if you know this, Goo, but Dan is planning on making a drive through from New York through Ohio through Indiana on his way to Missouri. I mean, I'm getting better. Missouri to Independence to go and meet Sam. It would be so cool if we can find a way to get here together. I know that there's still some plans that need to happen overarching for us to get there, but I, a part of me misses you friends, even though I've never actually met you in person. I would love to get to connect. Yeah, man, the classic Mustangs have been popular. You can get anything you want for them. You can find original parts. You can find remade everything. Brother, actually, one of the cheaper older cars. I mean, technically, right, $17 to $21,000. Some people would consider that cheaper, right? Because I'm sure there's ones that are in like pristine condition that probably sell for 100. But yeah, that's still more money than I feel I need to be spending. I don't think you need to be spending more than $20,000 on a car these days for you to have something reliable that will like last you another 10 years kind of thing. I know I can die at any moment while driving. I was gonna make that point as well, right? So I consider myself a good driver. I've had near misses where I was fast enough, whatever, right, to not be in an accident. However, every single time I'm behind the wheel, believing, knowing that I am a decent enough driver, I am like inundated by this thought. Specifically, this almost like sense of disbelief that how is this something that I'm allowed to do, right? I don't know if you get that sense too, where I'm like, I'm driving the car and I have a license. I'm allowed to drive this car. I've proven my proficiency. I know the road rules. I know how to stay under the speed limit. And still, I'm like, how the hell are they allowing me to do this? Like, surely I shouldn't be. Surely this is a task that is too dangerous for a human to have access to, right? Because at any second, I could just go like this and kill another person, or I can just go like this and drive myself into a tree, right? It's like my life is like in my hands with this much action could make me die. Yeah, driving. How about that? I think I do believe like 100 years from now, they'll look back at us and our driving culture and be like, they were crazy back then. They controlled those freaking boxes of metal at 100 miles an hour. I have driven 100 miles an hour a lot in my life, like many times. All right, and it's just kind of like normal for us at this point still, but I don't think it's gonna be looking back eventually. True, but your chances go up dramatically while driving. Yep, yep, yep. You could die at any moment, any other moment too. Yeah, driving increases the statistics. Namel, the Wololo, is a move in AoE where you use a priest to convert enemy units to your own side. I've lost games where I was winning because my opponent Wololo'd my whole army. Freaking dudes cheating in like PvP matches. That's not cool. That's not cool. I agree. We're like seeds. The quality of the soil, the space affects the way in which we grow, but it also there is an inherent quality of the seed which determines the kind of tree you'll grow into. Do you think as humans there are wisdom we're not meant to access? And if yes, we can only rely on our understanding only. How do we take heed? How do we discern? Phil asks really good questions, and I appreciate it. There's something that Sam actually said in this space a while ago that's coming to my mind about the way that the Jewish community kind of approaches information, where some information in that community is only presented to you, only disclosed. That's the word I'm looking for. Disclosed to you when you're at a certain age, right? That as you go through certain life paths, or I should say life stages, you develop in ways where certain information becomes not only accessible, but almost like understandable, right? Like there's a certain quality of almost like being able to relate to an information. And if you can relate to that information, it's more impactful, right? If I'm going to tell a 14-year-old, for example, that you're supposed to start exercising, right, and take good care of your body because when you're in your 30s, your body might start hurting. And if you start exercising now, right, and if you do this kind of stretch, your lower back isn't gonna hurt. And then they go, my lower back doesn't hurt. Why am I gonna do stretches right now for that version of me for when I'm 30, right, to not have lower back issues, kind of thing, right? And I think that's where I believe, yes, some wisdom is not meant to be accessed at certain ages. Like sometimes you have to learn the hard way, kind of thing. And then your question of do we rely on our understanding only? Yes, unfortunately, right? Because that 14-year-old can't understand yet. They only rely on their understanding and they cannot understand necessarily the significance of what that looks like later in life. And only when they get to that stage in life will that understanding arise. So it's like the wisdom is there for them, but they have to grow into being able to access it, kind of thing. I'll whistle out my ass. What? So yeah, I do like your soil and seed analogy. During my yoga class, at the end of my class, there's a pose where I bring my knees into my chest, and then I hug my knees or my arms around my shins, right? Where I like hold myself in a small little ball. And my cue in that pose is to bring yourself into that small space, to imagine yourself like a little ball or a little seed, and then the cue afterwards is to expand again, right? To like release your limbs and take up as much room as you can. And there is this quality, at least for me, in almost like showing yourself as a person that there is enough room in your space for you to grow, right? That when you take up, like, and you can try it now, you can just like lift your arms up and move it in the space, right? And in doing so, you can feel the sense of, room, right? This almost like being allowed to exist kind of thing. Right. And I feel like the extent of that is how you exist. Right. And how you exist is determined by a whole plethora of things, including the way your space looks around you. Right. I'll get to your other comments still, Phil. I see you're sending more. I'm scrolling deeper. MeltMore, hello. I'm happy. You're happy today. Aw. Hoops. I am. I feel a lot better. Me and Joe were really fighting the sick the last 2 days, and despite the fact that we were sick, we still did so much for each other, right? And I feel like that was the thing that was most beautiful about yesterday, as there was definitely some tensions, right? And I'm willing to completely take responsibility for my own combativeness, right? Gabby Goo said something about my combativeness, and we had a lot of conversations about that yesterday, taking responsibility on myself for the way that I show up, right? And realizing that even though the sick does influence us, does affect our way of engaging, I shouldn't. I shouldn't let myself be like dragged down by my own bad feelings in that way, right? Especially not if I'm gonna create tension with those that I love, right? And that tension was there, and it was something that me and her approached from a place of pragmatism, right? The amount of love that me and Joe have for each other, I feel, literally baffles my mind. It's like we work hard to make sure that both of us get heard, right? Sometimes it takes some time, especially since I'm stupid or not stupid, hard headed, right? It's like my brain is perfectly good, but my skull is so thick that it takes a lot of time for the information to get in there. Oh, love is true. Thank you, Hoops, for being here with us too. Do it, Gab. Come for Indiana pizza. My plan is to arrive on May 13th, and the next day will be my birthday. Getting to eat Dan pizza for my birthday sounds like I'm gonna have a good birthday this year. Like, yeah, nice. Hey there. Combat Journey says old videos that you were using a mortar and pestle to grind up your tree. You said you're gonna smoke a joint, and you were talking about for 20-year-old video and started your live stream. I remember that. Yeah, I had really dry bud, like really, really dry, like badly, badly dry. All right, and at that point, it was just about the medicine for me, right? Technically, even dry bud has medicine in it, and uh, I cringe. I cringe a little bit looking back, right? Especially having grown as sophisticated as I am right now. Sam knows. Sam, have you gotten yours yet? Sure do hope you have. Yeah. Sophistication grows. Phil says, I like the analogy of the keyhole that you gave yesterday. And for me, religion is like being trapped in a house, relying on another person to tell you about the outside world. But truth means going out there for yourself. That sounds like a Plato's allegory for the cave, right? Kind of a fractal. It's like, yep, you can only see the world as it is if you step into it, right? And it is very elusive. No, not the word I'm looking for. Delectable. No. Desirable. Why am I having a hard word articulating? There's a certain word in my vocabulary. Appealing? Also not. Right? We want to maintain our ignorance sometimes. Right? It is, for some reason I'm missing the word. I'll get to it at some point. Right? Like it's easier for us to believe that our worldview is true than it is for us to believe that it might not be. Right? Especially if you've never known something else. Right? You'll literally tell the person who's trying to convince you that a horse is actually a three-dimensional object, right? Not just a shadow that looks in this certain way, right? What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a desire. It's like a funness. No, come on. Captivating? Also not. Man. It doesn't matter. Fine. Find myself. Fine. Oh. But you're right. I can do that. Let me know when you're locked in for real, no cap on God, dead ass. That is, I think, the plan. That is the plan. Dead ass. On God. Will do. Waiting for pay time off to get approved and then renting a car. I'll shoot you a Discord message. Could be cool. I don't know if you'd be down for something like that. This is me being like, nudge, nudge, you two kiss, kind of fractal. Of like, I imagine Gobs flying out to New York and then driving with you down, all right? And then the flight back home will be shorter, but that might be a little bit too much to ask, right? That's like a big ask. My eldest brother. Oh no, no, bro. Last week, Gob just told us my eldest brother was in a bad car accident last week. He is okay, but he's injured. Some dumbass pulled in front of him from a dead stop while my brother was going 65 miles an hour on a highway. Yeah, those are the kind of accidents that do kill people. Stable, but a fractured pelvis, a broken pinky, and his hand has a torn FCL. But he's alive and he's lawyered up. Jeez. I am so sorry to hear this. Bruh, fracturing your pelvis. Like, that's like, I'm trusting that it'll heal well, but if he doesn't, that means like you're walking funny for the rest of your life. What you're talking about with driving and how anything could go wrong, how you could just drive into people or a tree, that's a Bill Burr skit, really? I'm not surprised. Bill Burr does have ones like that. Jeez, Gob, I'm so sorry that happened. Sending your brother healing vibes. Love is true. You can let us know his name as well so we can send him even more mindful energy. Ask not what your soil and sea can do for you, but what you can do for your sea and soil. A car was made by its maker to transport people from one point to another. It serves its purpose, and when it's used by its maker. Do you think humans have to yield to a higher will for us to realize our purpose? Well, that second one seemed like it was a little bit shoehorn, but it's not a bad question either. Phil, do we have to yield to a higher will for us to realize our purpose? I think some people do, right? I think it's one of those it depends kinds of questions. Some people, in their own hubris, in their own idea of who the self is, right? Who they are, might find themselves incapable, right, of serving, right, of kindness, of compassion, of empathy. And sometimes those kinds of individuals need to believe there's some sort of higher power, right? Some higher self that takes on all of these qualities that they want to aspire towards, right? And then in doing so, they can find their purpose in, as you said, yielding to a higher will. However, I, in my personal journey, have done the opposite, right? I have refused to yield to a higher will. And because of that, I have found my purpose too. So, in that way, like, if that's the case, the range is wide, right? Because you can find purpose literally, aggressively fighting against yielding, and you can find purpose in complete surrender to that yielding as well. What do you think, Phil? Maybe you can tell me. How's it going, Mel? Good. Really good. I can kind of breathe again. I can feel my sinuses are still a little bit stuffy, but I'm feeling way better. Like my body is no longer just like fighting to stay alive. Gotta peace out from meetings, y'all. Have a good one, Dan. We'll see you again, bro. I take your suggestion for a movement. I loved my dance and movement classes. I feel like my ability staying grounded is helped. There you go. I'm super happy to hear that. Hoopty hoops, you've been doing a dance/movement class? How regularly have you been doing it? And how long have you been doing it for now? I'm so proud of you. Hoops. That makes me very happy, dude. Real happy. I got this shipping notification today. We literally just ordered over this weekend. It's gonna be here in this week in that case. Nice. I'm like super excited for that too, Sam. I do believe it's gonna be a net good, right? At the very least, you're going to save, right? I can see it happening now, and the taste, right? I remember when I was there, me and Sam had a moment. Me, Sam, and Joe had a moment outside where like we had some fresh air outside, right? And then Sam takes her big breath of fresh air, and I could like see her processing what she was experiencing. And then she like exhales the fresh air and she goes, that tastes kind of nice. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, right, right, yeah, yeah. And then she got sold. Boom, boom. Now it's been Kelsey, Jovan, technically Kayana is one of Joe's old friends. I'm pretty sure. I think Gobs got himself one as well, right? Joy Vive did. Uh, I convinced John and Max. Who else did I convince? Was it Kristen? I think Kristen got convinced too. And the fact that it's an American company, right? Even here, I introduce people to this American company. I'm like, oh, look, nice, huh? Hmm? I like it. Back in South Africa, people considered it high tech. They were like, what? This is some next level stuff. I'm giddy. I'm giddy. A stable pelvis fracture doesn't require surgery and will likely fuse and heal well. Thank you for letting me know that, Gobs. I kind of like thought the stable means like he's not under, like he's not being ventilated or something kind of thing. Like he's breathing by himself. But thank you for letting me know that too. I bring myself here so you can find ourselves where I suppose. I'm happy to get the updates, Melt. I'm happy to hear you're feeling better. Thank you, Hoops. Your love is felt and appreciated, Brother Bear. Yeah, we look for explanations that affirm our confirmation bias so that we don't feel a cognitive dissonance. Oh, yeah. Like how people become Esigides? I don't know what that word means. Isagides. And read out of scripture merely to prove a point. The cognitive dissonance is a big one, right? To read that again, we look for explanations that affirm our confirmation bias. In other words, confirmation bias is when you want to believe something, right? For instance, I want to believe that breathing fresh air, right? And this is a very poignant one because it's going to touch all of us a little bit, all right? And if you know what fresh air means. But if I want to breathe some fresh air, right, I have the confirmation bias that I want to believe that's good for me, right? And then a study gets released, right? The benefits and the drawbacks of breathing fresh air. And then I go and read that study, right? And then I like kind of like squint my eyes and I scroll over the parts that says it can kind of be bad for me. And then I really open my eyes and I look to the part that says it's actually good for me, right? And then I'm confirming my biases, right? I'm looking for explanations that will confirm my bias. And then he says at the end of it, so that we don't feel the cognitive dissonance, because as we, as brains, as people, we have this cognitive load, right? This reasoning kind of like feature where we're constantly justifying to ourselves what it is we've been doing. And as soon as we find information that disproves or is contrary to the cognitive kind of like conclusions we've come to, it causes dissonance where it's like, oh, this thing I believe and what the science says, what the consensus is, seems to be diametrically opposed. And then we feel cognitive dissonance where we're like, I'm being wrong, right? And all of us want to be right. We want to believe that what we're doing is good for us, kind of thing. And then, as you said, we can become a little bit extra and then read out of scripture or read out of science papers to make a point, prove a point. Would you rather a pizza made by an Italian influencer or a burger made by a muscle car guy? You know, depends. Depends. If the influencer, if the Italian influencer is a cooking influencer, then I'd have the pizza, right? But if he's like a hairdresser, then maybe maybe I'll be second guessing. I was actually thinking again. I was legit, Sam, thinking muscle car guy burger. He knows details. I was legit thinking like muscle car burger guy would probably be the best bet. In Plato's Republic, there's a world of forms which he says that is more true and real than the physical world. I see the spiritual world as such, and the events here ripple from there. As above, so below, Phil. I believe this too, right? And I also believe that there is almost like an overarching, like as you said, like a spiritual. We talked about it yesterday, like a spiritual war happening, right? And then the influence of it affects us as individuals directly. And then there's almost this opportunity for us as human beings, as individuals on this lower level, to act in a way that is almost aligned with the higher self's way of being. And then if we do that, I feel like we progress. And if we don't do that, we stay stuck, right? And if we get into ugly fights, then we regress, right? And it's like we're trying to consciously evolve ourselves, push ourselves forward just a little bit. As above, so below. Melt, sometimes people do get inspired, but to characterize that as some kind of surrender, I don't get. I think we were talking about religiousness, right? There is a certain expectation for surrender in that. But I think you're right in the way where there's a third option where you can just be inspired by the religion, right? Like, for instance, when I travel, I go to churches. I like going to churches, right? I am usually inspired by them. I do at the same time think about all of the money that it cost to build them and how that money could have been potentially used for human well-being instead. However, I still feel inspired by the magnificence of some of these buildings. So in that way, I feel I agree with you, right? That you can be inspired without having to be subject to. You can be inspired without having to surrender to those experiences as well. No more true and real than the physical world. That tracks. Eastern wisdom says the world we live in is a lie. An illusion, technically. Maya, right? Lie, lie feels vindictive, at least in my mind. Like it's like intended to deceive. Well, I don't think it's intended to deceive. It's intended to allow, right? Hey, BSF, good morning. It's intended to allow you an experience, right? If I was at all times certain, or if I was at all times convinced of my own soul's infinitude, right? That I am pure cosmic light shining through this vessel, right? Would I have pain? Would I experience sadness? Would I experience stress or worry or dismay, right? And you can say that, oh, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be experiencing those things, Mel. Those things are not fun to experience. However, I have had moments of stress and dismay and discomfort leading to joy and exuberation and, pleasant feelings of accomplishment on the other side as well. So in that way, I feel like that's the biggest thing, at least for me, is that the illusion is there to allow, right? It's like a movie. A movie isn't real, but it allows you a certain experience in watching it. That's the way I see life at the very least. So we saw something outside. We had some fresh air outside. I was having a difficult time trying to tell you that I didn't hit it as hard as my pipe. We still buy, mostly because Teddy needs to stop. I'm not fully convinced yet. Yeah, you'll see. You'll get used to it. It has a learning curve a little bit, Sam, where you're going to like spend a week with it, and then at the end of that week, you're going to know how to use it, and then we can have the conversation again. I'm happy that Teddy needs to stop, like anything. It Smoking is harder on our bodies, right, than a vaporizer will be. Shalom, Stone Papa Smurf. Shalom. Happy day to you. I namaste in bed today. People that know what the word namaste means usually don't like those kinds of statements. It's like, don't you disrespect my namaste, so. Oh yeah, he's conscious and all, just a bit broken. He'll be okay. I'm grateful I got to see him and tell him I love him. I'm sure he's grateful for that too. Love to you and your brother. Gowdy goo. I make my own wax. Have you ever tried it? It's like concentrate. Yes. Yes, I have. Me too. I call it earwax. Are we talking about fresh air? Yes. Well, because, yeah, exactly. Exactly, as Sam said. Yeah, that's what's up with that. It's gardening or fresh air or oregano. Muscle car burger guy. It's just Guy Fieri. What I'm understanding, combat, is that I won. What I meant to say, says Phil, was that if we imagine wisdom exists in a place transcending any order of creation and has a will for us, shouldn't we align with it? Because surely the motto of creation isn't do as thou wilt. I hear you, Phil. I think and maybe you could tell me if I'm understanding you correctly, Phil. I think what Phil is saying is that if there is some sort of divine order, right? If there is a fate, if there is a plan for us as a species, then surely that plan haver, that fate maker, has a certain trajectory, an alignment, right? A purity, a truth to it. And isn't it then apt for us as human beings to align with that truth so that we can find ourselves living in alignment with the universe as a whole? And I think that's where I have personally found myself very resistant to some of the religious teachings, because I'm not completely convinced, right? To read your message again, is imagine wisdom existing in a place transcending any order of creation and has a will for us. Shouldn't we align with it? Because surely the motto of creation isn't do as thou wilt. You know, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Because clearly, God willed. God did, if there's a God, of course. God did as they willed, right? So, in that way, the motto of creation is do as thou wilt, all right? And again, in the biblical sense, we have been given free will, which is also literally do as thou wilt, right? Or at least you are allowed to do as thou wilt. So, in that way, I feel if there was a right track, right, it would be a little bit more easy for us to know which that is. I think again, we find ourselves in a world way more complicated than that of our past, right? Like we find ourselves in a very unique situation where something as simple as economic crashes, right? Like there are individuals during the 2008 financial crisis who walked away as billionaires, right? Like while most of the world was going through a state of extreme financial hardship, some people became more wealthy than they've ever been in their lives, right? And in that way, is that wrong? Is that a wrong thing to do, right? If you look at the way they did it, right? They were investigated. They didn't do anything wrong, right, by the rule sense. But still, they were almost like exploiting a rough time in our human history for their own personal gain. And I don't know if the Bible says anything about that, right? But in their world, they were aligned with the good, right? They were still aligned. They knew where things were going, even though things were going down, and they aligned themselves in a way where they used that downward momentum to go up. You know what I mean? So, in that way, for me, reality seems to be very open, right? In that word. Maybe open is the wrong word. Maybe unjudgmental. Maybe that's one. Unconditional. There we go. Reality loves you unconditionally. And I do believe the same thing about if there is, as you said, a creator, right, that has a will for us. Its will for us is unconditional love. That's what it wills, right? And not everybody can get there, but it would be poignant. No, not poignant. Poignant is sad. Apt. It would be apt for us to align with that. But it's not easy, neither, right? Like you can articulate it to yourself all you want, but it doesn't make it any easier to act in that way as well. Wisdom is understanding that life must go its own way. Parents know this best of all. You gotta let your kid make their own mistakes, otherwise, they won't learn. That's how I see it, at least. Immediate, frantic bird screaming. Yeah, I probably saw something outside. He's been very enriched, right? Like it's been an hour without him really screaming at me. Hey man, hit me up on Instagram. Let me see if I have Instagram on this device. I do. Finish setting up your account. No. How about I don't finish setting up my account? Suddenly I'm seeing all of the friends. Melita friend. Oh, Darius. Holy shit. This is one of my old friends. Oh my goodness. This is melting my brain. This is a public forum, so I think it's okay, right, for me to show this. Right? I think that's how it works. If it's on the public internet, you have technically said that it's okay for it to be on the public internet. So I've had this friend, or I met this friend at a festival, right? And his brother is also a part of the festival scene and has been for a long time. But this is what he looked like, right? Really like handsome looking guy, but also has like a young face, right? And that's how I remembered him for the longest time. And he just recently posted a picture of himself again. And now he's a man? How did that happen, oh? Like, last time I saw you, you were like a kid. Now he's got full beard on his face. How dare he? Kids growing up so fast. Alrighty. Let me see. I think Combat Journeys wants me to check him shizzing it out. Search with Meta AI. How about I don't? In Combat. Combat Journeys. There we go. Found you. Follow. Bunch of selfies with the homies. This looks fun. You get so many souls coming through there, bro. Let me send you a message. So, here's up, bro. Get method. All right. For some reason, it won't let me say certain social media. It doesn't want to lose retention, right? These platforms are optimized to try and keep you here for as long as it possibly can. And you going to another social media is the exact opposite of what they want. You gotta give a generic name like Insta hot dog legs. In scripture, it also said that God favored certain people over others. But I feel like nothing can even exist outside of the will of the Creator, if there is one. So there must have been an interpolation there. Let me see that burp. He has been really good. So maybe I will go and get him out of his cage. Are we justifying or are we just believing? I think we're justifying believing. Maybe in some capacity. Hey, Zoe. You want out? Come on. Come on, Zoe. Come on. There you go. Yeah, we're out. We're out. You want to go outside? I will take you outside for a second. Hello. There you are. Zoe. You a good girl? Huh? You a good girl, Zoe? Huh? Where you want to go? You want to go back there? Yeah? Love that bird. He's a cool bird. He's a cool bird, Mark. I love him too. He was a little bit of a feisty dude. And he was being a little bit bitey. So hopefully I get to take him back to his cage after this experience. But yeah. You a good girl, Zoe? You want to go outside? Yeah? Yeah? You want to go outside? You're going to have to come back here. Come back here. I'm going to take you outside, okay? I will. Hello. You want me to come and get you? You want me to come and get you again? You want to go bye-bye? Come on. You want out? Does you want to say bye-bye to the friends? Hey, chicky G. You want out? You want to go outside? No, chillax. I'm not gonna hurt you with that thing. When they bite, they hurt. Oh yeah. I get what they said. Phil says. He says that at a basic level of interpretation, it could mean do as one wills freely. But don't you think autonomy was given to us to achieve nirvana? He wants to kiss me. I'm gonna take him outside quickly. You a good girl? You wanna go outside? You wanna go outside quickly? Let's go outside, okay? Ooh, it's so nice out here. So nice, yeah. Is it nice out here, Zoe? Is it good out here? Wow. He's trying to get me to go to the bird feeder because it's filled with a bunch of sunflower seeds. I'll get you some sunflower seeds, but I'm not gonna give you those. Those sunflower seeds are for the birds. They might be sick. Maybe they got some birdie flu or something, and then you get birdie flu too. We don't want that. You want a cookie? Let's get you some of these. All right. Let me get you some of these. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Zoe. Yeah. Okay. Let's take these cookies to your cage, okay? Let's take these cookies. Yummy, yum, yum, yums. Yum, 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 yums. You wanna say bye-bye? You wanna say bye-bye? I'll give you these. If you say bye-bye, you say bye-bye. You say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to them. Say bye-bye. You wanna say bye-bye? He's like, come on, dude. I'm getting antsy here. Okay. Say bye-bye. One out. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go to your cage. Come on. There you go. There you go, Zoe. And then we'll put these. And you want some? There you go. You can go to get the rest, okay? Good girl. It's a good girl, Zoe. It's a good girl, Zoe. Okay, item 10. Melt is the pet. Yes. I'm happy you friends realize. Right. I'm the emotional support animal, pretty much. Right. I'm very useful. I think that's the way I see it. Does free will have a purpose? I think free will is a quality that precedes meaning. Right? I think if there is a God, that God knew that giving it free will and it being us, or maybe our species, our planet, begets meaning, right? It's not as meaningful if there was no free will, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Would it be meaningful if something had to love me, right? Is it as meaningful, right? It's like a dog, right? A dog like will run up to a stranger and look for pets. So I personally don't feel as special necessarily when a dog runs up to me for pets because it doesn't really mean that I am special specifically. It just means that doggo likes getting pets, kind of thing. Sam actually replied as well, saying free will wouldn't mean anything if the spiritual realms were known with certainty. Free will is what makes the decision to pursue that knowledge so powerful. It's beautifully said. I don't think it's a good idea to generalize about such things in general. Some say that if you pet a parrot on areas outside of the wings, it signals mating and it can confuse them and they can get violent. Did you experience that? I'm just curious. You're right. So we only pet him. Suddenly heard something. We only pet him on his head and maybe on his neck. As you said, like we don't go low to the body and we don't touch him close to his little arms and feetsies and like I'm trying to anatomy my human body onto his Barbie self. But it is true what you say, right? Like he has a few different mating behaviors. Fabric and pillows and stuff as well also gets him a little bit feisty. And he can get violent, he can get bitey, right? A little bit feisty in those states, right? So we are very mindful of kind of like only engaging with him in a way like, and when he starts to like regurgitate kind of thing, like we also try and like stop that behavior. We don't have like a little almost like nesting area in his cage for him as well, because that can also like make them aggressive. But yeah, it is spring, so he is in the process of getting there, right? Getting to the point. You live in Africa, right, bud? Nope. Not anymore. I used to, Mark. I now live in Indiana, in the United States of America. We had Toasty here, loving on the burp too. Love to you. Some say, yeah, I heard that one. Melt is the pet. You live in Africa. Okay. I made it through all of the comments. 1035. MeltMore equals bro is anti-ice. Yeah. I mean, I'm literally an immigrant, so yeah. Yeah. Might not be good for the US government to know that. Neosporin. Right? The government probably would like to believe that I am a lover of ISIS. Or ICE as they call themselves. I mean, but it's true, right? I like a fair bit of ice in my drink. Are you dancing today? No. No, Prairie Wolf. It's not Wednesday. We dance on Wednesdays. I should. No, I shouldn't. My recovery scores are kind of fine. So I can dance again today. But I have been a little bit under the weather, so I probably shouldn't push myself right now. I see free will through a very limited lens, though. I have some free will here in this world. I can go on by my day to day with a certain degree of freedom, but it's limited at so many levels, though. Society, norms, what is and isn't acceptable, what is and isn't available, even as well, affecting your free will. So I hear you on that too. I think it's more a matter of getting to be or not to be. That's the ultimate free will. All right, is that you can free will yourself into non-existence, at least on an earthly level, and that's kind of wild, right? I think that's where the real quality of to choose to live is the real powerful. That makes life more meaningful, right? If you had to live, if there was no option, right, you could not die, no matter how you tried, jump off buildings, drown yourself, you could not die. Would living be as meaningful, right? I don't think so. And yes, I am going to genetically modify myself until my cells no longer want to die. But that doesn't mean that I cannot die. Where is your wife? My wife is at work. Good morning, folks. It's true. Hoops. Zoe burps the bows. We can't even explain where our thoughts come from. So, how does one know that one is acting on one's impulses more than their conscious choices? What we do know, Phil, I don't know if you have read these studies, is that your neurochemistry precedes your thoughts by something like, I think it's 600 milliseconds. It's like a sixth of a second. So there's a latency between the internal mind chemistry and your conscious experience, right? So in that way, there literally is dissonance between how it is you feel and what it is you think, and how that feeling and thinking leads to your conscious experience. So in that way, sure, maybe we can argue that you're not aware. The vampire dilemma, right? You can argue that we are not really free-willed, but the fact that you get to choose to exist, again, that to me, that's the crux. That's the real crux. Acting on impulses. Yeah, the vampire dilemma. The vampire dilemma. Ah, yes. Do I eat it now, or do I let it ferment so I can drink it later? She lives with you, brother. Yes, she does. I live with her, I feel I'd say. We live with each other. Fermented is great. I'm just thinking about like a person being left in a wine cellar to age the same way bottles of wine gets left. Don't be a trashy human or get banished to the sorrow realm. This is true. One of you friends should tell me when I'm to stop. Tell me when I'm to stop so that I can do so. Noodle is... Hey, no. Thank you. Thank you, Prairie Wolf. Noodle. You cannot lay on people's clothing, bro. You have a whole bed, though. You have two beds. We have two beds set up for him in this space. So it's not like he doesn't have places to go and lay down. He's got plenty. Go here. Go there. Yay. There's a space for you. Melt, if you want to argue, learn what words mean. Dissonance has a definition, just like consider. I wasn't trying to argue, but dissonance, at least in my mind, is a gap between what you know or what you think you know and what is, right? Hey Google, define dissonance. Another stupid channel. Well, you must be especially stupid if you're spending your time exploring all of the stupid channels, all right? It's like if I'm stupid for having a stupid channel, then you must be stupid twice for spending your time looking for one. It's like another stupid YouTuber. Oh, yeah. Sir, what do you do for a living? I'm a certified yoga teacher. I do these live streams and I make art. That's basically what I do for a living. That's how I earn most of my money. But I also have experience in AV. So I know how to do like essentially full stack routing of multiple sources into racks, those racks being routed back to the central screen, each of those sources having a microphone attached to it as well, being able to attach those microphones to the central audio system of the room. Those are the skills that I basically started my life with. And then I started a business about 2 years ago where I do visual mapping for festivals as well, that I've made a fair bit of money doing. But I still need to do more. So I'm probably gonna get back into the AV fractals on this side as well. If Melt is spending his time being stupid, yeah. Stuck on stupid with super glued shoes. Exactly. Dissonance is a lack of harmony or agreement between elements. In music, it refers to a tension-filled combination of sounds that feels unstable or unresolved. And this is what I was thinking. In psychology, cognitive dissonance is a mental discomfort caused by holding two conflicting beliefs or values simultaneously. Right? It's like knowing something and holding that knowledge in your head while at the same time holding some other thing in your head at the same time, and there being like they're not matchy matchy. You believe in life after death. I don't believe in anything. Right? You can only believe in something by not knowing it to be true. Right? And I can't know if there's something after death. I do like to think, right? I think that there's life after death, but I don't believe that there's life after death. You know, like I'm very peculiar about the word belief as well in my personal worldview. I still haven't seen this card, Prairie Wolf. I'm just hiding it from myself. People tend to rationalize their emotions more than being rational. I mean, studies even show that 95% of our mind is subconscious. So I think discernment starts by being aware first of these things. I agree. We got Tat saying, "You're definitely doing it right, my friend. I want to be like you as I grow up." I think it's the wave in the ocean. When a wave collapses, it becomes the whole ocean again. I think it's the same with us. Thank you, Tat. Like reading a message like that really does warm my heart. I'll try and be a good person as well so that we can become good people together. If you're modeling yourself after my way of being, know that you are loved, right? Take good care of yourself. I believe there's got to be something like a higher power. Why? Why do you believe that? That's my question, right? I'm more curious about why it is we believe things than what it is we believe. Because there's a lot more nuance, all right? It's a little something something underneath why it is we believe things versus what it is we believe. There's death after life, that's for sure. There we go. That's a kind of experience, right? There's something after life at the very least. You've pulled this card twice now. And it's the last card in the whole deck. We did pull it upside down this time around. I think last time we pulled it upside down too. It is a cool card. There's DNA spirals on the side of her. Her mind is open. A part of the galaxy. No way, you like this one? Today we settle. Settling back into our love. Phil, so true. Love the thoughts you bring to this space. For Killer Kill, love you friends. Really is. You have been allowing us to explore with depth. Even scientifically speaking, Tat says, we are the whole ocean, so to speak. Yep. Our bodies are made up of the same stuff our universe, or at least our world, is made up of as well. Right? There literally is no separation. You are the ocean. You should visit Alex's Cosm. I would love to. I have a deck of cards. I have the Cosm deck of cards where I have all of his different depictions of humans as a deck of cards. I would love to see Cosm. We are the stardust. Oh yeah. Welcome, bud. That ocean wave metaphor is exactly how it works. We're individual waves and we're the ocean. Love is true. Cause look at the beautiful things like the sun, moon, human, animals, stars. Someone got to be responsible for that. No question about it. Someone has to be responsible for it. Someone, yeah. Is someone responsible for the forest? All right. I can see where if you have a line of trees that have been planted in a line by people, that there can be this want to believe that there is a someone involved in that act. However, the fact that we exist to me is not enough proof that something had to make us exist. All right. Especially if you look at the amount of stuff that there is in the universe, right? Hundreds, hundreds of billions of star systems, hundreds of billions of them. All right, like more galaxies. All right, like there's photos. Let me show you this. Hey Google, show me that photo of all of the galaxies. Oh, it's not gonna do it this way, is it? All right, and a galaxy has millions of star systems. Look at that. All right, those are galaxies. Each of those bright spots is a whole galaxy. All right, like the Milky Way is a galaxy. There are millions of galaxies out there. So in that way, right, like I find that so awe-inspiring that I almost like stop looking at the trees right in front of me, right? I still appreciate the trees right in front of me, but I don't dare to assume to understand why they're there, right? I do appreciate getting to look. Sir, you believe in God. Yes, sure. I believe in God as much as many other people do. Right, but I think my way of believing in God is usually triggering to some people. So I keep it to myself for the most part. There is no more God out there than there is God in you. I'll just say that much. Melt is peculiar about words. What does he mean by this? The word belief is one that I'm peculiar about, hoopty hoops. But you know what I mean by that. Something. Chipotle dudes are responsible. He added egg to a cake recipe to sell housewives more cake because women have subconscious urge to give their eggs to their husbands. What? Phil, what? There's something out there. Just we're not capable of understanding it. Exactly. Something large enough, vast enough, cosmic enough, grand enough to create millions of galaxies. All right. I couldn't dare to assume that an entity of that scale would, what's the word I'm looking for? Would concern itself, right, with the trivialities of our human experience. All right, but that's again my own personal judgment and bias as well. That's saying, yes, I know firsthand. I have seen through the veil. Or actually, it's more like the veil was ripped open. Very jarring, to say the least. I think beauty is derived from truth, math, music, color, theory. It's all variations of the same universal language, frequency. The beauty of the universe seems to be inherent because it is true. More galaxies than all the grains of sand on the beaches of Earth. Yes. Yes, yes. And it's like, no, us, actually, we are the center of the universe. God created all of this for us, humans will say. And it's like, yes, more galaxies than there are grains of sands and all of the beaches on Earth, but it's all for us? Okay, cool. Okay, worldview, and all I hear you. This is Melt worldview. Everybody, when can't you get it right? I don't know what that means, but that's just my perspective, right? My personal perspective. Jarring is certainly one way to describe it. Are you living a whole life still? I know some folks kind of swan dive off the deep end when that happens to them. It's a good question to ask. How have you integrated this understanding that reality is more than you know? Seeing past the veil, fun with dissonance and belief. Sam, no one is swan diving What are you on about? People's one dive, bro. I agree with something you're saying in these babies getting stuck with cancer and what did they do wrong? That's what I don't understand. That's where I get stuck as well, Mark. Right? Where I really would love to believe there is a God that like is like really watching out for us and like is like babying us like right? But I don't because I've not been given evidence to, right? However, I do believe in the God that is in every single one of us, right? That the scientists, the doctors, the nurses that take care of these babies with cancer, that is as close to God as I can see in this world, right? And I would rather give honor, give my prayers towards those individuals, right, that are actually doing the work of making sure our planet heals than I would in praying to, in so many words, something imaginary, right? I would rather concern myself with the real, right? That the things that I can understand. Death isn't a punishment. This I agree to. Death isn't dangerous kind of perspective. We are here to be receiving. Yes, a teacher of mine told me that you must honor the dream right before he gave me a couple of grandmother Aya. Explains the reality getting ripped open. Makes sense, looking past the veil. Grandmother Aya will do that. Under the force of the medicine, the grandmother told me that I was shown the path, and now I have to walk it. It is a pleasure to be on this path alongside you, dear friend. Here to receive. We are here to receive. The best way to describe what's going on is okay. It's like we're playing a game of hide and seek with ourselves. Didn't I? I think I said literally those words to Hoopy in a comment that he sent. Literally. We are playing hide and seek with ourselves. I love that, Tat. Hoop boy, you just tossed into the deep end. That explains it. I'll do it. Readiness and receptivity. One more time. All right. This is the final card in the Sacred Geometry cards for the Visionary Path. Embedded in this background is the image of stunning geometry that appeared as a crop formation in 2003. The figure is charged with readiness and receptivity. Her outstretched arms and open hand chakras are expressions of trust, openness, and infinite potential. She is a lightning rod and receptor of universal information and infinite wisdom. DNA spirals appear as pillars or antennae in support of her readiness. This card celebrates the transformation. I use the word transformation in my title. Sorry. This card celebrates the transformation that is taking place in our experience of reality and our willingness to shift from the separation of duality consciousness to the certainty of our connectedness with all that is. Sacred geometry is one way that information and energy are entering consciousness at this time. You are gaining a greater appreciation for and are participating in the evolution of consciousness. As you continue your visionary path, allow your awareness and understanding of sacred geometry to nurture this evolution. Let this card be a signpost of your willingness to become a beacon of hope and a guiding light for those still caught in the old paradigm of separation. Remain receptive to the messages you are receiving and give thanks for your conscious participation. I did pull it reversed, and the reverse meaning goes, you are reluctant to accept your role in the evolution of consciousness. Ask for guidance and assurance so that you may more fully participate in this important time of human history. We are actively writing our human history. Feels wild to have that much responsibility, don't you think? And yet here we are. That could actually mean, when it's said that we bear the image of God, maybe the Creator reveals himself through creation. What do you think? That's what I believe. I think we are all that thing we call God. God is a placeholder in our minds for something inexplainable, right? But you are that. You can't explain how your brain works. You can't explain how you got here. You can explain the steps. You can explain to me how our parents procreated to beget our existence in this world. You can explain to me how they fed us food. You can explain to me how their parents before them did the same thing. But we cannot encapsulate everything that we are with words, right? And in that way, the word God is that attempt to try and encapsulate all of that vastness, right? And we are a part. We are a part of that vastness, right? Part and parcel too. Inseparable from the whole. You are a part of the whole. Remember who you are. You know what I don't understand. If people don't believe in God, then why, when they are sick gravely, they start praying to God? That is funny to me. Yeah, right? Because again, there's a certain desperation that comes with the whole religious thinking. Many people believe in God because they're scared of dying, right? And the thought, the fear of dying is so vast that believing in something, believing in a heaven afterwards, gives them some sort of solace so that they may live their life without being in a constant state of anxiety. All right? Joke's on us. We're going to be in a constant state of anxiety anyway. Love is true. I don't know what those words mean. Maybe it's translated on here. Peace be upon you. What happened? Everything is happening all at the same time. Thank you for joining us to Ass. Ass. Cope is a hell of a drug. Oh yeah. Have you studied Patanjali's yoga melt? I can't say that I have, Phil. I can't say that I have. Maybe I've absorbed some of their teachings, but I don't know. Like I can't say like yeah, and then give you what I've learned from their teachings, kind of thing, right? So I feel new. I fear the anticipation of death, and not death itself. You fear the anticipation of death, like you fear knowing you're gonna die. I don't fear that part. I don't fear dying at all, right? I definitely have that morbid curiosity about what happens next. All right, and the consciousness that I am will step into death with hope as well. Panjani's Yoga Sutras, good stuff. Maybe I have. I wouldn't be surprised. I never felt so much peace and bliss in my life. Play weep like a child. Play weep like a little child, and just kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I wept like a little child and just kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you. That was one of my almost like enlightening experiences as well, Tat, where for the longest time, up until that moment, every gratitude, every happy, every hope, every appreciation was directly related to what I could extract from the material world. And then in a moment of divine thought, I was suddenly completely understanding, aware of the fact that I can be grateful for simply existing, right? Weep like a child, saying thank you, thank you, thank you, just for my simple existence. And that has changed me. It made me no longer fear death, because I am the living. You are the living. Some call it a spark of the Creator. Others say the image. Others call it the seed. It's all overarching. Exactly. By the third, I yelled out, "Why am I out here?" I sat down in there and there was nothing to do but observe my surroundings, and before I knew, I stopped thinking completely, and I just wept like a child, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. It is like that, right? When all of the thoughts that constantly maul around in your head just come to a stop, and you are allowed to be where you are. It dawns upon you that where you are is good, and that you're grateful to be here. I used to read about Osha, and he said for something to flourish, there must be a death and destruction of thought patterns first. Patanjali's yoga starts with the patterns of the body first, like food and breath. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras of Patanjali's are one of the most influential yoga texts. It outlines an 8-step path to steady the mind and remember who you actually are beyond all the noise. Maybe we did. Maybe I just never locked in on the name. It could be a matter of having a hard time even reading the name. So, right, if I have a hard time, I'm bad with remembering names of people who have easy names, kind of thing. I have to say it a bunch of times before it locks in. I feel I'm ready to go to the bathroom, actually. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. I'm gonna hold some space for Phil. I don't know if you were saying some more. You might have. But it is these patterns of body, right? Food, breath, sleep, movement. Those are the things that are underlying our entire experience. No matter what you do, no matter how rich you become, no matter how famous you become, no matter how aesthetic you become, you're gonna have to eat food, you're gonna have to breathe air, you're gonna have to go to sleep. All right? And if you can perfect these ways of being, you'll be well. I know, I don't like eponyms, lol. People try to immortalize themselves through their work. Yep. We have Autobiography of a Yogi in our space as well. All right, so I get it. I get it. Everybody wants to be immortalized. Me too. Even me. Love is true. GG's. Got to go. Love you, friends. Thank you, Toast, for blessing us too. I'm at the stage where the universe has been sending me people like Krishna Murti talking about it as a buzzkill. Yeah, you just need to absorb. You need to be present with the teachings. We covered it so much in Yoga Teacher Training Melt. There we go. I probably did study it in that case. Isn't known to be a person. Patanjali's isn't known to be a person, but a group of people. But prior to the sutras, it was passed down teacher to teacher, verbally. Makes more sense. Maybe it was like the documentation of all of those teachings. I appreciate you, friends. It's not like that with the sutras. Patanjali is the teacher who spoke on them, and that's the perspective the book has. My father told me, don't listen to what people say behind your back. A lion never looks back when a small dog barks. That's a cool way to end it. It's true. Look ahead with hope in your heart. Know that we will get where it is we're going. Eventually. Clearly, we're going somewhere. And I appreciate being here with you, friends, on this journey. It's a pleasure getting to touch base and connect again. I love you, friends. And I'll see you again soon. All right. Tomorrow. Yeah, he said the Tibetans would tell you to run if you feel anger because when you run, your breathing pattern changes, which then changes your thoughts. It's true. You can do the same thing just by breathing. You don't have to go for a run even. If you study breathing patterns, when you feel happy and apply that pattern, you can then feel happy. Power. Breathe, dear friends. Goodbye now. I'll see you friends again soon. This is now backed by science too. It's true. Epigenetic expression is influenced by what you do. Go in and epigenetically express the good. Goodbye, dear friends, until we do it again tomorrow. Goodbye and love ya. Peace.